All right, everybody. Good morning. Time for another one of these. Time for another Mariners video. And since there isn't really a lot going on in the world of the Seahawks for a few more days, I'll just go ahead and lead the day off with this. So we are 100 games into the season now, and I don't really know. I don't really know what to say anymore. I don't really know what to think. We are well over halfway through the season now, so a lot of the things that I could have said, back in May or even June don't really apply now, and we're still kind of dealing with the same stuff. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks, and look, I I understand that the situation is not bad at all. This Mariners team is likely to make the postseason. So if you are a believer in the idea that baseball, like other sports, but baseball, sometimes it seems like in particular, is ultimately a sport where teams play a bunch of games during the regular season that don't matter, and then it's whoever's hot at the very end, then okay, we're right where we want to be, I guess. But it's getting tough to watch this team right now. I got to admit, like 50-50, and that the last 10 games that was brutal. There were brutal moments in these last 10 games. And definitely coming out of those 10 games feeling worse about the team than I did before. And it's starting to feel like the issues are more systemic than anything else. And that's the kind of stuff you can't really fix. Not during the season, maybe not ever, but definitely not in the middle of the season, which is what matters right now. So I mean, we can try to talk about this a little bit right now. We can talk about where things sit. We're half a game back in the West. You take a look at remaining schedules. You take a look at the other teams in the division. I believe we are favored to win it right now, ultimately, but they're not doing much to make us feel good about any of this right now. And even though we just won that series against the Giants, it's hard to feel encouraged, man. So I don't really know what direction to take this video in. Like I could talk about how this offense has been dead for weeks and weeks now. Like the only bright spot offensively is Cole Young with his 107 OPS. So it's like, okay, that's great, but is that really the most exciting thing on this team right now? It probably, but that's really not good. Even, a Rosarina, as good as he's hitting this year, is wearing out his welcome with some of the stuff he's doing. And other guys are cooling. There was a time where we were really riding the production of Luke Raley at the plate or Dominic Canzone at the plate, but we knew they weren't going to be able to keep up the level of play they were at. And don't get me wrong, they're still playing good, but there was some understanding that we would be getting some guys in here to pick up the slack, and it's not happening. Naylor rolls over everything. It's become really staggering how much Josh Naylor just rolls over on outside pitches and hits them right to second base for the world's easiest ground out or double plays. And Cal isn't doing this might just be a lost season for Cal at this point, and Crawford barely playable at this point. And these were the guys who I thought were going to step up at some point to help mitigate the fact that some of the guys that were carrying us weren't going to be able to keep it up, like a Colt Emerson, and they're not. If you like sports, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using the Prize Picks app, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, and obviously we are now firmly into the NFL offseason, so we're all about baseball. We got some basketball, we got some hockey, whatever it is you like. Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. Definitely make sure to use the promo code HMA. Prize Picks is hooking up users with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. If you use that promo code, that is HMA. I've had a great time on Prize Picks so far, so definitely get on over to it, check it out, and make sure to get your lineups. And don't forget about Team Picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So Download the app now, use HMA, and get on over to Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. So I don't really know where this goes. Donovan's going to be back soon. And look, Donovan was playing really good baseball before he got hurt. So if he comes back and can start playing at that level again and send Emerson down, because obviously Emerson's, I think, would probably benefit at this point from going back down for a little bit. He played really well. He did some great things. But at this point, I think we got to think about his long term. Then that helps. But even still, this is not the team that we were sold in the offseason if we can't start getting some net positive play out of guys like Naylor and Cal. And it's been going on for so long now. And there are moments where it's like, oh, Naylor's snapping out of it. Naylor's going to figure this out. And then he goes back down. And it over and over again. And I know that's the nature of baseball, but Josh was so bad early in the season, you figure at some point he would just get on a run, and then that would be that. But overall, he's been probably a net negative player. And, even the JP thing, and look, I don't have high expectations for JP. I know he's not a very good player, but there was some understanding that, hey, his power and his bat was going to make him worth the struggles on defense, and that hasn't been the case for a while now. He's just a player that is not really good at anything anymore. And I don't know how this team works with this many crucial players playing at this level. Like Julio, shout out to him. He's doing his thing. He got hurt. He missed a bunch of games. So obviously you don't hold that against him. He got the concussion or whatever, but he's been doing his thing for the most part, especially when you factor in the fact that the injury kind of slowed his role. But other than that, and I guess you would throw Randy in there too, as much as Randy's been a frustrating player for us. It's not the team we were told we were going to have this year. And I'd like to say that Brendan Donovan comes back and fixes it, but there were some guys talking on X I think it was yesterday, and it really made me think. I mean, Ty France is back in his prime again. Like, if you look at Ty France, he's been playing great baseball this year. He's been every bit the player that he was for us when we had him, and he was really good. We had that guy around for over a year of really bad play, and then we just discarded him because what else could we do? And now he goes to these other teams, and suddenly he's playing so much better. It can't help but make you think we're doing something wrong. Because Josh Naylor is a very good hitter. Josh Naylor has been a good hitter on other teams. He was a good hitter for us last year, for the most part. So for him to suddenly become a net negative player, and for Cal to become one of the least effective hitters in baseball, and you throw Crawford in there as well, as much as I don't think Crawford's a great player to start with, feels like we're doing something wrong, and it's not something that can get fixed by one player. And I don't know how to define it. Is it something the hitting coach is doing? Is it something that the coaching staff in general is doing? I don't think it's the stadium at this point, right? I can't say it's just T-Mobile Park. Can't really say that anymore. So I don't know how you fix it anymore. And it's not like everybody on the team's hitting bad. I mean, Canzone was playing at an all-star level for an extended period of time there. Luke Raley was playing really good. Rosarena's been good this year at the plate for the most part. So I don't know. This is why I wasn't sure what to think of with this video. Like, you just start talking in circles because it's the same stuff. I say every time I talk about the Mariners, oh, well, Cal and Josh are too good to keep playing like this. They're going to come around, and we're 100 games in, and they haven't. And the pitching kind of stays the same. It's a good rotation, but who do I really trust? Miller's probably earned my trust at this point, right? Gilbert's also getting there. Gilbert's been pitching really well. But Wu, I don't trust him anymore. Kirby, can't really trust him. And Still waiting for the other shoe to drop on Hancock. And of course not Castillo. And the bullpen's really good, but it's also really shallow. We can't have any mistakes in the bullpen. Like we had that one game against, I want to say Cleveland. Maybe it was Cleveland, but it might have been another team where we made one mistake where we had one pitcher, one of our bullpen pitchers take one batter, one out, and we ran out of pitchers at the end of the game. Like that's all it takes because we're so shallow, because Criswell and Brash, I don't know what's going on with those guys, but it's insane how often we end up throwing some, for lack of a better term, sacrificial lamb out there in late in the game or extra innings because we just don't have enough guys. So I like our bullpen. Munoz has looked way better lately. Munoz is starting to throw smoke again, but it's shallow. So even that is like, I can see where this can cost us games. And, talking about the players, talking about the roster, I mean, everything's overshadowed by this Dan Wilson thing. And I'm going to say the same thing I said in the last video. I kind of feel like you may as well fire him. I understand that the team probably won't as long as they feel like they're going to make the playoffs, which, understandable. They probably will, as uninspiring as they are. But you look at some of these games and forget this strategy. Forget this strategy, because there's a big part of me that still thinks the analytics department is making those calls and Dan's just doing what he's being told to do. But there have been moments, and very recently, in fact, where I could have sworn this team was giving up. Like, you come out of the All-Star break and lose 7-0 at home to the Giants. Like, that's you kind of signaling that the team is quitting. And then you go out there the next day and you're dead in the water for the whole game, and then Cole Young bails you out. You win kind of a miracle game, but you're still getting this vague sense the team isn't really invested. And, you want to believe that because they won that game and because they won yesterday, and yesterday was a good win, you want to believe they're getting out of it, but will they? Because we've had these moments before this season, a good win, a good moment, a turnaround position where it seems like, okay, this is the moment where the team galvanizes together and becomes the team we all thought they would be in the offseason. And then the next few games come around and maybe they sustain a little bit of a win streak, but it doesn't last. The good feelings don't last. Eventually they go out there and have another crap game where they can't hit and they can't score. And I don't know, guys. I'm frustrated to this point. I'm frustrated. I tried to keep an open mind with this team this season, and look, it's not over. I mean, we are half a game out of the division. It's a crap division. It's a crap league. Like, how many teams in the American League are really intimidating this year? Not very many. So it's not over, but this team is so not fun to watch. Some of these at-bats are just hideous, and we have a lot of pitchers that get down on themselves and then just start throwing batting practice, and they can't hit with runners in scoring position. We all know about that. I shouldn't be this down about a team that's at 500 after 50 games with a lot of injuries. I shouldn't. But it's just really hard to not be down on these guys right now with how uninspiring they look and how unfun they've been to watch. And that's the nature of baseball. Every team goes through phases or periods where they're just not themselves, but this feels like something else. This has felt like a team that is telling you not to take them very seriously, even if they're 50-50 after 100 games, which is, not terrible, but feels like there's something terrible going on with the team. All right. Wish I had something else to say, but I'm just confused. I am confused. This is one of the most hyped Mariners teams ever. This is a talented roster. This is a talented enough team to win the American League. This is a talented enough team to, maybe the injuries have kind of taken away their opportunity to do this, to be the top seed in the American League. I believe that, but hasn't happened yet. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I'm tired. Want to have fun watching baseball again. And I don't know if this is the team that's going to do that, but got to keep going. Trade deadline soon. Maybe we do something, maybe we don't. I don't have a great inclination of what I even want to do anymore, man. All right, I'm out of here. Go Mariners, and 62 games left.